So you might be in a position where you're ready to buy an investment property here in Calgary and you're wondering, is it gonna cash flow? But what type of property should you buy? Should you be buying apartments, townhomes, a suited detached home, or you could buy one of these? And personally, this is what I would buy, but we're gonna talk about that later. Let's go check out the apartments first. So we're gonna start our journey figuring out cash flow properties here, talking about apartments, because so many people do like to kind of consider the cheaper investment of a property like this, but is it gonna cash flow? Well, let's look at the numbers. So we are in Auburn Bay, and I pulled up an example of a property here, something recently, not in this complex, but down in this area, sold for $350,000. Now that's gonna require about a $70,000 down payment. And when you take in all of the costs, which is gonna be about $1,398 for your mortgage, about $155 in taxes, $100 in insurance, your fees, your condo fees are $330 a month, your HOA fees, depending on the community, is gonna have that, which is $41 a month here, you're looking at $2,024 per month as your expenses. So is renting out a 2-bedroom condo gonna create cash flow for you? Well, what I looked and what I found was usually about $1,900 to maybe $2,100. And I know there's condos renting out for more than that right now, but our market's shifting, so you gotta be careful about that. So it's really not a cash flow opportunity, it's more like a break-even one. So now let's take a look at townhomes. Townhomes are essentially, they're a condo as well. You got condo fees and they're a little bit more pricier than your apartments. But how does it work for an investment property? A lot of people lived in them themselves and it turned into an investment, but to buy for an investment, well, some of these places are going for about $475,000 or so. So let's take a look at how it breaks out in the numbers. So a townhome in New Brighton sold for $473,500. That would equate to just under $95,000 for your down payment. So all of the mortgage numbers we're talking about, we're doing a 4.5% fixed rate, and we're doing 25-year amortization. So the mortgage on a townhome would be about $2,096 a month. Taxes, $186 a month. Insurance, roughly $100 a month. Your condo fees for this particular complex was about $256 a month, and then your HOA fee was $22 a month. So all in all, you're sitting at $2,660 per month on your expenses for this townhome. Now, you have to do your homework. If you want a townhome, you want an apartment, go look for one and do your homework and find something that cash flows. But this one, it doesn't, because most of the townhomes that I looked up were going for about $2,100 to $2,300 a month. So on the low end, you're putting $300 a month into a townhome. So I don't know if it's the right investment. So let's go find something that is. So I've always said, if you're gonna buy a revenue property, something that is great is to have multiple streams of income. So if you have multiple streams of income, first off, what's gonna happen is if one tenant leaves, you still have some income coming in. That's just security, it's kind of nice. The other thing is just more money coming in, and you're kind of using the property to its best potential, which is really important when you're doing revenue type properties. So a detached home with a suite is probably where you want to start. You can look in newer areas like this in Copperfield, or you can go inner city, you can go northeast, there's lots of different areas. But a property here in Copperfield that sold just recently for $699,000. It is a down payment of just under $140,000. So there's more skin in the game, you gotta have a bigger down payment. But when you run the numbers, this is kind of where we get into cash flow category. So mortgage, about $3,095 a month. Your taxes, about $334 a month. And insurance, roughly $150 a month or so, right? So you're all in about $3,579 per month. Now, what kind of income can you see in a property like this? Well, your main floor can go for around $2,300 right now. Basements go for about $1,600. So all in all, you're bringing in about $3,900. If you're good at math, you're quickly seeing that there's a cash flow here of just over $300 a month. And this is what you're looking for when you're buying a revenue property. So I want to give you another example of a detached property that can have a suite. This one here is up in Saddle Ridge and Taradale. So a property up here recently sold for $610,000 that had a suite in it. So you're able to save a little bit on your down payment because now it's coming up with about $123,000–$124,000 roughly. So on a mortgage in a property up here, you'd be looking at about $2,700 a month. With your taxes, about $264, insurance, another $150, you're about $3,124 all in on a cost on a property up in this area. And as you can see, properties up here, a lot of them do have suites and they make great rental properties if that's what you're looking for. Now, what does it bring in? Well, $1,800 roughly for your main floor, $1,600 for your basement is bringing in $3,400. So on this one, it's very similar to the other property and you're bringing in just under $300 a month. So this is the reason having multiple suites in a single property is going to be really, really helpful for you when you're buying a rental property. Now, if I was going to buy anything, this is what I'd actually buy. One of the biggest regrets I have in owning properties is selling one of these. What I'm talking about is a fourplex. Now, it might be legal, might be illegal, but we had one for a long time. Our partners wanted to move on to something else, and we ended up selling it. We sold it before all the prices went up in Calgary, and now we don't own it. But this is what I would buy. If you were gonna buy again, this is what I would buy. A property like this, we're in Winston Heights, Mountain View area. A property like this that's really renoed up, that's really nice, you don't have to buy that, is gonna be about 1.2 to 1.3. So if you've got about 25% down, because it is gonna cost you a little bit more than just your regular 20% down, you're gonna have to come up with about $312,000 to purchase this property at 25% down. So what does the mortgage look like? You're sitting at $5,188 per month. Taxes are roughly $450, and I'm guesstimating about $350 for your insurance. So you're gonna be in this property every month for about $5,988. Well, that's gonna translate to a nice cash flow number because for 2 bedrooms up, 2 bedrooms down, 4 units, again, some are legal, some are illegal, and that's a decision you have to make, but you could be pulling in nearly $8,000 a month on a property like this. Again, having multiple streams of income is really, really important because now if one of those tenants are gone, you have 3 others and it's just eating up maybe a little bit of your cash flow. Because here, you're gonna be making over $2,000 of cash flow per month on a fourplex. Now, that's pretty good. And coming up with a down payment for something like this could actually be a little bit more difficult. You may have a rental apartment, a rental townhouse that you need to sell. And if that's the case, you might want to go watch this video to figure out exactly what the time that is right for you to sell that property.